So for the last 4 years or so, I've been working in the corporate world, specifically in corporate America. And if it has taught me anything, it is to start talks like these with a disclaimer, right? And my disclaimer goes a little something like this. This disclaimer informs the audience, you guys, that the speaker, myself, might be in the present time or have been in the past a complete idiot and therefore must not be taken too seriously when it comes to giving out life advice. With that out of the way, let's start. About a year ago, when the news came out in the national newspapers in India that I had gotten onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list in the United States, yeah, that's a couple of pounds heavier, so don't mind that. But so I got a lot of congratulatory calls and messages, and one of those calls was from a really old neighbor that I grew up with. And this uncle called me, and he congratulated me. And then at the end of the call, he said, "Beta, वो सब तो ठीक है, पर अगर IT से engineering किए होते ना, आज कहाँ पहुँच गए होते?" And you all laugh, and it's funny in retrospect, but I guess he was just looking out for me. But what he failed to understand, and that's the essence of this talk, what he failed to understand is that whatever little modicum of success that I've been able to achieve in my career has absolutely nothing to do with the college I went to, or the degree I got, or the grades I have. No, it's something else. Behind the glamour that my career has so kindly afforded me, as you can see, lies another side to me. And that's the side that's responsible. And it is a side that I would like to share with all of you today. And it's a story that begins and ends with innovation. Necessity is the mother of all invention. As a side note, when I was growing up and I used to get caught by my mother doing something wrong, I also learned that mother is the necessity of all invention. So that's something separate. But getting back on track, necessity is the mother of all invention. And when Edison came up with the design for the light bulb, which is the theme of today, he did so because there was a problem at that time, and that people needed a consistent source of light that could last for a long period of time. But over time, the problems changed, and we required newer solutions, and people started looking beyond the bulb, as it were. Today, my generation, and looking at the audience, I can safely say our generation, faces a new kind of problem. And it's one of the, I think, one of the gravest problems that mankind has faced till date: climate change. And from a very early age, I became obsessed about why it is the way it is and how to change it. And I just could not come to terms with the fact that this was a reality that I have to grow up in, and that the next generations have to grow up in. And I became obsessed with trying to change it. And it is this obsessive side of me, this obsessive curiosity of why things work the way they work, why things don't work how they're not supposed to, that I think is the essence of who I am. So, I also realized that to get to a solution for climate change, we'd have to think beyond the existing frameworks, much like the bulb and the solutions and the problems that came after. We'd have to think beyond the existing frameworks that we have today. So what did I do about it, right? Because this is a TED Talk. I can't be all words and no action. So what did I do? I got out of my house at a very early age, scraped together some money, and I don't know how many of you have been to the United States, but when I went to the United States to finish my degree in electrical engineering, I had $800 in my pockets that my dad gave me. That was his entire savings at that point of time. And he said, "Can you make this work for like 6 months?" And I don't know if you guys know, it's really not a lot. Anyway, So yeah, the struggle was there. And like any of the other speakers that you've heard today, the struggle exists, right? And I had to make it work, and I did. But what did I do? So I went to the States, I got my degree, I worked on 2 research projects under the NASA banner, and then I worked with a major utility company to modernize the electric grid and bring in more renewable energy in 11 states, and then I got onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list for energy, and now using all that experience, and I have started a company with one of my best friends, where we are working on creating technologies for renewable hydrogen fuel to combat climate change. I'm only 26, so give me some time. I know it's not much. But there is a reason I'm telling you my career history, and I promise. Bragging is only 20% of it. No, I'm kidding. The real reason behind me telling you my career history is this. It's because today I want to talk about solving problems through innovation. It is something that we all want to do, but rarely anyone knows how to do it. So innovation. Like I said before, I grew up a typical middle-class Delhi boy with nothing, and not even any special talents or skills. And I was pretty unintelligent, and if you talk to some people in my life, they'll still tell you I'm still unintelligent, and that's fine. But if I've learned something from my journey, it is this. The only way to succeed in life is through problem solving. The only way you can solve problems is to be obsessively curious about them and innovate. But what do I mean by innovation? I mean failing. Why? Because if you don't fail, you're not going to change anything, and I promise you that. Because you're looking for solutions to today's problems, but you're trying to find solutions from tomorrow. It's new solutions. It's solutions that don't exist yet. And in that pursuit of solutions or things or worlds that do not exist yet, if you're pursuing that, then 9 times out of 10, you are bound to fail. But to get to that 10th time, that really magic moment, you have to go through the 9. So, I ask you, if you're not going out there and failing on a regular basis, come closer. Are you really trying? No, you're taking the safe option. You're in your comfort zone. So, philosophical quotes and discussions are all well and good. But what is innovation really? I mean, I'm an engineer, right? I need metrics and solid plans and actionable items. So what is innovation really? Steps we can all take to incorporate innovative thinking in our daily lives and become not idle and not slip into an idle state of being where we just accept the status quo as ye to aisa hi hota hai. How many times have we heard that? So this is what I've uncovered, and to illustrate this, there's 2 main axioms that I've uncovered for innovative thought, and I'm going to tell them to you, but to illustrate them in a better way, I need to tell you 2 stories. Is that okay with everyone? I mean, I'm talking so. You can say no, but I'm still going to tell you the stories. So the first story, right? It comes from a time in my life when I realized a deep truth. And at that point, I didn't really know anything. 10 years ago, 11 now, I went to Japan on an exchange program. And over there, I made a friend. He had this amazing, amazing talent for origami. Paper folding. You could give him a humongous sheet of paper, and he will return to you this intricate, delicate flower or a paper crane. It was amazing to watch, right? Okay. Fast forward 8 years from that time. I'm sitting in the library of my university, and I'm high on coffee, and I'm trying to come up with a solution for a project that I'm working on. And the project is, how can I take solar panels, and which are infamously brittle and hard to work with as an object, and how can I get them to fold so that I can pack in more solar panels on a smaller satellite? It's kind of a unique project. And at that time, there weren't many ideas around that, right? Because if you think about a satellite, there's only 3 sides of it facing the sun at any given point of time. So, there's limited availability of space. So you need to have more solar panels in a smaller space. Okay. So what's the problem? The problem is I need to take a large surface and I need to fold it down into a tiny, delicate structure. So can you guys guess what I did? Yeah, I made a long-distance phone call to Japan. This origami-inspired solar panel design, as you can see, this was the first project that really launched my career, A, and B, really taught me the first lesson, the first axiom of innovative thinking. I'm going to show you a little video here of the prototype that we made, because it's fun, and why not? I have the stage. So yeah, it folds in and folds out. So the first step in innovation, right? It is to create a network of minds, resources, and talents around yourself. I promise you this, not a single one of you, regardless of how smart you are, and I'm sure you guys are really smart, smarter than I was, because obviously you've had the good sense to attend a TED Talk by me. But innovation does not happen in isolation. And I'm going to repeat this. And I want you to listen carefully, because this is important. Innovation does not happen in isolation. In this story, innovation happened because 2 random guys from 2 different countries, from 2 completely different fields, came together and wanted to solve a problem together. Someone had the expertise required to fold paper, and someone had the expertise to generate the mathematics of that fold and apply it to solar panels. It's as simple as that. When you have an open network of minds working together to solve a problem that they're passionate about, and not because you're getting a paycheck for it or because it's a homework assignment, ladies and gentlemen, that space, that spot is where innovation lives. That is the magic spot. And if you don't take away anything else from my talk, please take this away, especially the younger people. Because right now, I'm giving it to you for free, or am I? But later on in life, people are going to market this to you and sell it to you with the branding of networking as a concept. And they're going to sell it to you for a price. I mean, if you still want to pay me, I'll take it. But okay. So the next question. So we have problems here today, and we want to get to tomorrow, right? So innovative thinking is all well and good, but how does one inculcate a behavior in oneself where we don't have to actively do it? We don't have to get into the mode of, okay, now ab main innovate karega, right? Like, we don't want that to happen, right? We just want to be innovative, right? And that applies to all problems, everyday problems. So how do we do that? Enter the next story. Be infinitely curious. I had a childhood friend, and I told her yesterday that I was going to talk about her in the TED Talk, and she was mortified. She said, please don't take my name, so I'm going to honor her request. But she was a horrible student. Like, if you think that I was a bad student, you should really see her report cards. They were really bad, academically. And her parents were friends with my parents, and they used to come over for dinner, and I would hear them talk, and I would overhear them talk. And her parents would say, पता है हमारी बेटी पता नहीं क्या करती रहती है सारा दिन फ़ोन पे ये लैपटॉप पे लगी रहती है online. There's this new thing called Facebook. Yeah, it was new at that time. There's this new thing called Facebook, and we don't know what she's doing. She never opens a book. How's she ever going to succeed in life? And by the way, I'm not hating on parents. This is important to note. This is a completely natural response for a parent who cares about their child, right? I want to make that point first. However, what they didn't notice, what they failed to notice, was that there was something unusual about her online activity. Every time she went onto Facebook, she logged onto Facebook, she would have a little piece of paper or a pad of paper and a pen next to her. And she would take notes. What would she write down? She shared that with me. She would write down what times were good to post on Facebook. What kind of content did people like in posts? Like, basically, she was a kid trying to get more likes. That's it. But she was writing it down. And I think that was the key. Because the second step to being innovative is to not be an idle bystander. It is to be an active participant in whatever it is that you're doing. Doesn't matter if it's your little hobby. Be active about it. Don't stand on the sidelines and watch the world change. Be there. Make it happen. Take notes. Because then, your hobby, the thing that you're wasting your time with, it's not just a pastime anymore. It's research. Because when she was on Facebook and she was writing down all those data points, she wasn't a kid wasting time online. She was a social media marketing professional. She was an IT engineer, you know? And these jobs are today's, they're so high in demand today, these skills. Oh, and my friend, do you guys want to know what happened to her? She is currently one of the highest paid marketing professionals in Silicon Valley. I mean, I wish I had wasted more time on Facebook, personally. So, to summarize, I would like to put forward a simple request to all the young people watching this. Please, please, don't be afraid to try new things because you think you'll fail. Please. Because this is your comfort zone, right? And I've been told not to get out of this. This is where magic happens, right? That is where innovation lives. You need to step outside your comfort zone. And now, more importantly, to all the parents watching this, and also the neighbors, I guess. If you're worried about your child, it's completely natural to do so. I understand that. Not because I have a kid, I don't. It's natural, but don't worry. Because everyone excels in something that they are passionate about, that they are curious about, that they are obsessed about. And it might take some time. It might take the right environment to grow in, but they do. I got 34 in math in class 12. I had to retake that exam. And I'm standing here today in front of you, one of the only Indians to make it onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list in 2018. Specifically in the field of science and technology, because I wanted to stick it to all the people who said I can't do science. But don't worry. All you have to do, really, is to find that one thing that your child is obsessed with, that they are trying to pry apart and look inside and figure out how it works. Just find what they are obsessed with, because that is passion, in other terms. Find what they're obsessed with, and make sure you support that obsession. Because I'm telling you, God knows it's hard to do that by yourself. It's really hard to do that by yourself. You need a support system. Please be that support system for your children. So, to end it all it really takes to change the world is one obsessively curious person. And to reiterate, work together, be curious, and innovate through life's problems. I mean, I'm not here to tell you guys what to do. All the young people watching this, you will show us what the world of tomorrow looks like. I don't know that, right? You will come to me and you will innovate and you will invent and you will show me what the world of tomorrow looks like. I'm just here to tell you how to do it because I've been through it. Right? And that's the whole point of passing down information. It's not to tell you what to do, because that limits you. It's to tell you how to do it, and then you go and do your own thing. Dream up worlds that have never existed before. That's how you solve problems. Innovation is never, ever about looking forwards or backwards blindly. It is always a network of connections, a matrix of connections. And I promise you, all of you are part of that matrix, but only some of us are able to harness the power of that matrix. Be the ones who are able to do that. Be the ones who are able to look beyond the bulb. Thank you so much.